Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking time to stop by and review this walkthrough video training on St. Gabriel and Prince of Peace's new Parish Staq scheduling system. If you are a liturgical minister and volunteer for our masses, you are in the right spot. This is Frank Montanati, your parish administrator. I will preface this by letting you know this will be approximately 25 to 30 minutes or so in length, but I do plan on breaking it down into bite-sized pieces so you could refer back to specific elements as you need. I will upload these videos to our St. Gabriel and Prince of Peace YouTube page, as well as links at bare minimum to our onto our St. Gabriel and Prince of Peace websites. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So let's begin by talking about emails, because emails is how you're going to gain your initial access to our scheduling portal. And I'll show you an example of the emails here in a second. But what I really need everybody to do, this seems like, a simple thing, but people miss it all the time. Please add notifications at ccbchurch.com to your contacts, and I would save it in such a fashion as notifications dash Prince of Peace, first name, last name type of deal, or notifications for first name, last name is St. Gabriel. Um, you are able to reply to these emails, but I'll show you a more specific and better way on how to do that as we get into the program. But the reason for doing this is obviously number one, help it to stop from going into junk mail or into your spam folders. But the other reason is to differentiate the email addresses for me specifically or for your coordinator specifically. You may want to reach out to them for something different than a scheduling question, and you don't necessarily want to save this as my name and then try to reach out to me via that, because that goes into a different folder for me, and I'm not necessarily prioritizing that in the same way that I do my regular work email. So just save it as your church name in some way. And again, the example is notifications dash Prince of Peace. All right. That the emails that you get from that address will typically be general scheduling emails, but you'll also get some emails from parish office at stgapop.org. Those are more your reminder type notifications. So you might as well book that and save that to your safe senders list as well. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get into an example of these emails. So allow me to switch screens here. All right. So we'll start off with this one here. This one's from notifications at ccbchurch.com. Notice how my name's attached to this. However, if Dorothy May, your coordinator, sends out an email, you might see her name on there, or Jan Fitzgerald's name, or even Jenny Sims's name from Prince of Peace. All right, that's why I'm suggesting save it as your church name. But regardless, the really important part of these emails that you get from us regarding schedules, obviously you have the title and you'll have, the body of the email. But as you scroll down to the bottom of all of these, you're going to see a blue link down here. Some of the emails will say manage my serving. Your reminders emails will say view requests. Both links will take you actually to the scheduling portal. So let's go ahead and click on that, and you'll see that we've just landed on the scheduling portal. Everything you need to know or do about your scheduling is going to be on this web page. And your next step would be to bookmark or favorite, add this to your favorites, okay? So again, bookmark or add this page to your favorites. You guys are using different internet browsers, whether it be Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, or Apple Safari. So I won't go into all the details on how to bookmark or add to favorites, but I'll give you an example here. I can do one of two things: drag the address from the left-hand corner down here to my bookmarks bar. All right, I can edit this to make it say whatever I want, but for me, I'll just leave that alone. Or I could have just pressed this star button, which is my favorites button under Chrome. Okay, so just make sure you guys do that. This way you can easily come back to it in the future without even having to look into your emails. Okay, now let's get into the basic layout of the web page. This is actually your schedule. As you can see here, I have a couple different names. Um, Listed here because I set up a test family in this particular example. So I have a position and event that I'm scheduled for on the 2nd of March, which is obviously past. And then I have Island Boy set up as my other family member, and he's also to have served on the 2nd. You can scroll down, you can see my future opportunities to serve. All right, so this indeed is your schedule. All right. So let's just go from top to bottom and I'll cover everything else that's on this page here. We'll start off in the very top right, this little icon of a person. That's your profile section. If you click that open, you're going to see that this is basically your contact information. If you're like me and have a profile that has a family member in it, you'll see this drop down box here. Click that and I can easily switch over to the other family member and update their profile. Okay, I'll come back to this page with some specific details here in a little bit. All right, so we'll close it out. The next part is this gear icon in the top right corner as well. This is where you will set your preferences, availability, and blockout dates. All right, much the same way as we did in Ministry Scheduler Pro. All right, come back to that a little bit later. Our first header row is going to be an assignments and requests tab, which is the default tab that we land on all the time when we open up this page, which shows our schedule, shows a calendar, shows our family members here with a couple of filters that you can toggle on and off to show one person in the family or the entire family if you click them all. We also have a couple more toggle filters up here. I would just leave this alone right now as click the pending, the accepted, and the checked in. We aren't using pending at the moment, but we may do so in the future for special masses to allow people to sign up if they'd like to. But right now, we're not engaging in that particular status. Um, Most of the statuses, or currently all the status we'll be using, is accepted. Now, I'll share with you real quickly what accepted means. Much the same way as we scheduled with Ministry Scheduler Pro. As we write our schedules, we're looking at your blockout dates and your availabilities and your preferences and just assigning you to positions, and the system is defaulting to accepted. We just set it up that way. If you guys can't serve that day, let's say you didn't get us your availability or blockout dates to us in time, you're still able to opt out. You can't even decline that opportunity, but our ask, and I'll get to that in a little bit as well, is not to decline it automatically. Please try to swap with somebody or find a replacement. And that's going to work very similarly to how we did it in Ministry Scheduler Pro. All right. So again, just leave all of this alone. We'll talk about checked in the future. We're not using that feature yet neither, but we do plan on possibly having check-in kiosks in our sacristy where you can just come in and let the sacristy know that you're here, click a button and we're done. All right. If we scroll over to the right, you're going to see this calendar looking icon. This is for those of you who like to use a digital type of calendar, whether it be Outlook's calendar, Google Chrome's Gmail calendar, or even iCal with Apple. If you click on this box or this drop down, you're able to subscribe to this calendar and it'll automatically book it into whatever calendar it is that you're using. Okay. And again, all of these below here are the dates and times of your upcoming schedules and your opportunities to serve. I will call your attention that some of these, if there are events in the future, okay, let's look at Saturday for me, March 9th. These boxes are live boxes, meaning if you click them, you can open them up and have some options appear for you where you can view the entire week's schedule. All right. And everybody that's serving, this will be helpful if you're trying to find somebody to swap with, see who's available. Um, I'll go back to that. I'm sorry. And down here are all your different options to find a replacement and swap with somebody. And we'll come back to that in a little bit more detail. All right. The next tab is browse open positions. Depending on what you're qualified for and your availabilities, what will show up here are any assignments that are still open that either somebody declined because they couldn't find somebody to replace, or pardon me, we just didn't, we missed putting somebody in that spot. But if you're able and available to serve, those opportunities will show up here on your page, and you have the option of declining that or taking it if you'd like. All right. And that's the basic anatomy and layout of the page. So let's dig in a little bit more to some of the detail that I'd like you guys to pay attention to. We're going to start back up in the right top corner again with your profile. This is very basic, very almost, very self-explanatory as well. But I'll ask you guys a couple things. Please do us a favor. Add a profile picture. It'd be very helpful for us. And I'll just admit to you, everybody, that I can't put all your faces together with your names all the time. So this will be helpful to me as we are writing schedules. Your coordinators would appreciate it as well. And it could be helpful for you too. If somebody does accept a schedule swap or replacement request from you and you've never met them, you can now see who they are and perhaps thank them next time you see them at Mass. Um, Make sure your contact information is up to date. Now, down here by the mobile phone, you're going to see something that you've not seen before, but we are asking everybody to pop in their mobile carrier, okay? Whatever cell phone carrier you use, please add that in there. Um, Again, I'm going to leave this up to you, but here's the reason. If you guys would like to receive reminder emails, or excuse me, reminder text about your upcoming serving opportunities, this is one of the ways that we are given permission by you to actually send out a text. So um, I have T-Mobile here for mine. That's the service I use. You just click the drop down box and find your carrier on here. It's got a ton, so yours is probably on there. But if you don't do this, you won't receive any text reminders at all about your upcoming schedules. You'll have to solely rely on checking back in your emails. Okay. Again, it's up to you, but I will say that this also impacts other communication features that our church has access to through our new Parish Staq software. I'll give you an example. If we want to send out an emergency text broadcast to our parishioners because we canceled Mass, this would be one reason for you guys could do that. So by selecting your carrier, that helps us out to send you guys text messages. I've made a personal and work decision that we won't use text blast for anything other than schedule type information or very special alert type messages that we're going to use texting for. All right. If you are part of a group, a special group at church that's within our system, text messaging will be available to your group leaders. And one last thing to call out on text messaging, it is one-way text. So it's just a text from us. It's not going to be something where you're going to see a lot of replies and notifications pop up because everybody's chatting within a group chat. It's not set up that way. All right. So again, last thing I'll say about that is if you want text, completely up to you. Please add your carrier. Otherwise, that feature won't work for you. All right, I've beat that to death. We'll move on to the next piece. In the gear icon, again, here's your preferences, availability, and blockout dates. We'll start off with blockout dates because that's the easiest one to work with. Very simple, guys. You find a day that you want to take off and let us know that you can't serve. I'll find something out here in April. I'm not going to be here on the 27th. So I click that date. This box opens up. It's defaulted to just that single day. But if I want to extend that out for a full week, I'll just say I'm back on Friday the 10th or Friday the 3rd of May. And I can put a reason in here if I'd like. Click save. And then that whole week is automatically blocked out and I'm done. All right. We'll move to availability. And I'm going to switch over here to my actual profile. This is a test profile I'm using, so bear with me. I'm going to switch screens. All right. And I'll go into my gear icon here. The reason why I'm calling this using my real profile is some of you guys might have multiple schedules in your profile. If you work at both churches, that is an option and that is available to some people. Um, but most of you will just have either a St. Gabe weekly mass volunteer schedule or Prince of Peace will be titled as something similar. Um, you'll be able to just change your positions and your availabilities for those churches as you need. All right. But let me go back in here to the availability part. The availability part is what allows you to set up how many times you like to serve during the month, as well as if you want to assign yourself to only specific weeks. All right. So if we click on here, it's defaulted to serve as often as needed on the position dates that you're available for. Okay. But you can set a status of I only want to serve once a month, basically, um, or up to 5 times a month. All right. So um, you just simply toggle on the switch and that changes it for you. If you're going to choose 5 weeks, you might as well just keep it serve as often as needed. All right. You're also able to say, I only want to serve on weeks 1 and weeks 3. So if that's what you want to do, just come in here and uncheck those other weeks and you won't be scheduled for those weeks. All right. They'll, if they do schedule you, there'll be a notification of them that they're trying to schedule you on a day that you're not available, and they'll have to reach out to you to just double check if you can. Maybe we're shorthanded or whatnot. So just know that that's there, but we do get alerts if we try to schedule you outside of your availability. All right, moving on to preferences. All right. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, you guys are going to have different schedules availability. Most of you will only have one based on your church. But if you click into here, I'll use St. Gabriel Weekly Mass Volunteer Schedule. This is going to be pretty busy for some of you, especially if you're serving, as unfortunately most of us are, in multiple positions. All right. But even more so if you are a Eucharistic minister or a lector. And I'll take a moment to share why. If there was a limitation on this new Parish Staq software compared to Ministry Scheduler Pro, is the fact that I cannot automatically set up position numbers for every person and assign somebody to cup 2 or cup 4 or host 1 or lector read second reading. The system is not set up like that as Ministry Scheduler Pro was set up to do. So what we've had to do to overcome that hurdle is create specific positions. So there's if you're a Eucharistic minister, I'll step back just a little bit. This mostly applies to St. Gabriel because we have several more cup ministers. If you are a Eucharistic minister, you are going to be um, listed in every single one of those positions. We're not going to schedule you in all of those, but you're just going to be listed as under that position so that we could choose you for that spot. But what'll end up happening is you're probably going to have a long list that says um, Eucharistic Minister Cup 1 with your preference, Eucharistic Minister Cup 2, Cup 3, so forth, with all of that. So what we've decided to do internally is not have you guys worry about setting up your serving preference times unless you completely want to. I'm having my team go um, individually by for each one of these positions, and just changing these dates and times to match up with the time that with the position title that we're calling it. I hope that makes sense. I know that was a lot that I just ran through, but it'll make more sense as you guys see the schedule get printed out on paper, and you'll find those in the sacristy. Okay, but in the meantime, don't worry about changing these dates or times. It doesn't impact our scheduling on our side because we're all going to just be going off the position title, which does show the day and the time of the mass. Okay, so I'll close that off. Let me go back into it to make sure we've covered everything. Oh, one more thing, there's a slider button. This should have been pretty obvious. If you do have family members and you would like us to do our best to schedule you with your family members, just slide this button on, and we'll do our best to actually add everybody to there. Sometimes it's very easy for us to do that. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. All right. So just know it does tell us to try to schedule you with your family members. All right. So that is the basic layout and things that you need to worry yourself with on the main page. But the last thing we'll get into is, well, Frank, you guys booked us for a position and I'm unavailable. What do I do now? So it's very, very simple, guys. Let's find something that I am that's in the future for us. We'll pick this live stream tech for me. And this box opens up with a whole set of options. Again, as I showed earlier, you can view the entire schedule for the full week to see who's scheduling where. Um, and this shows all the names of all the different ministers, what positions that they're already in, so you guys can review that simply just to see who you're going to be serving with that day. But the important part is the other options that are there. So I'll click back onto here. Again, there's that schedule button. Here's another way to subscribe to this entire calendar. But again, you can simply just decline the request, but we are all asking that you do not use this option unless it's the only thing that's left. If you tried everything else to either find a replacement, swap with somebody, and nobody's responded to you, go ahead and decline the request, but please then message your scheduler. Here is the best way to reach us regarding your schedule is to click into this specific box and send us a message. This particular box will go specifically to your coordinator. So this again is the best way to reach us. All right, but let's try finding a replacement. Okay, when you click on that box, this is going to send an email out to everybody that's available to serve on that date and that time. There's an email already ready to go. This is defaulted to who's available, but if you click the arrow, you'll see all the names that are available. You can, select just a couple people or one person, that you want to send this to. So I unchecked Dennis, and in this particular case, an email will be sent to Jackie only. Um, Keep them all checked. It'll go out to everybody that's within your position. Okay. We'll go back. I click send the message, and it's done. The people that it gets sent to will see an email from the system letting them know that you're requesting a replacement, and they have the opportunity to decline the invite or accept it. Okay. It's very much the same way if you want to swap with somebody. The difference is it's going to be swapped for something specific in the future. All right, so in this particular case, the next mass that's available to serve for this position is going to be Saturday the 9th. If I click that, it'll show me the actual serving time. I'll click forward. In this particular case, both Jackie and Dennis are unavailable on that day. So I'm kind of like, oops, there's nobody to replace me. So I need to go back and actually message my scheduler and let them know that I unfortunately can't serve that day. If there was people available, same process. You'll be able to click on the name of the person you'd like to try to swap with, and the system will generate an email and send it to them requesting that swap on your behalf. All right. And that is it, everyone. I think I've covered every single thing that's important to you guys. So just to recap, save the email addresses, notifications at CBC Church or CCB Church and Parish office at stgaypop.org to your contacts. Bookmark this page and come back to the videos and refer to what you need in the future. All right, everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to send an email back to me. My email address, let me switch back screens here, is paa@stgaypop.org. I'll respond as quickly as I can. But thank you once again for everything that you do for our church. And that's it. Have a great day, everyone. God bless. Bye bye.